There's something Rockstar has done with GTA 6 that not many people are really saying out loud. And once you see it, the way you look at this game changes a lot. Because the key part isn't really what Rockstar has shown in the trailers. It's what they probably haven't shown yet. First, a bit of context, because it matters. Back in 2001, Rockstar put GTA 3 on the PlayStation 2. A console with 32 megabytes of RAM? That's basically nothing by today's standards. Your phone probably uses more memory just opening the camera. And somehow within that, they made traffic, pedestrians with routines, physics, and AI reacting in real time. At the time, developers were trying to figure out how they had done it. What was the trick? What shortcut did they use? And the weird part is, there didn't seem to be one. It just worked on hardware that really shouldn't have handled it that well. Then, 3 years later, still on that same console, they released San Andreas. And it wasn't just more GTA, it was way bigger. Bigger map, more systems, flying, deeper combat, customization, territory control. All on the same machine people already thought had nothing left in the tank. Coincidence? Not really. Then came GTA 4 in 2008 with Euphoria. And suddenly characters didn't just play canned animations. Nico reacted to impacts in real time. He stumbled differently, grabbed onto things, absorbed force depending on what actually happened. It looked messy in the best possible way, like a real body trying not to eat the pavement. At the time, that was crazy, on a home console especially. Then Red Dead Redemption in 2010 showed this wasn't just Rockstar being good at making cities. They took that same ambition into a huge open frontier and somehow pulled it off again. Different setting, same feeling. How are they doing this? And then there's the moment that still makes this whole conversation even funnier. 2013. PlayStation 3, a console that was ancient in tech terms by then. Everyone thought it was fully squeezed dry, and Rockstar released GTA 5 on it. Not a small game, not a compromised little open world, a massive map, 3 playable protagonists you could switch between. In real time, dynamic ocean simulation, wildlife, complex AI systems, on PS3 hardware. That was ridiculous. And what's funny is even other top-tier studios were openly impressed by it. Because from a technical point of view, it kind of looked like Rockstar had ignored the memo on what that hardware was supposed to be capable of. And that's the pattern, that's the important part. Most studios look at the hardware first and ask, what can we realistically build with this? Rockstar usually feels like they do the opposite. They decide what they want the game to be and then spend years figuring out how to force it into the machine without it falling apart. They don't lower the ambition first, they fight the hardware first. And almost every time the result is the same. A Rockstar game comes out, and suddenly a lot of other games from that same generation start feeling older than they did the week before. But this gets even more interesting when you look at Red Dead Redemption 2. Because Red Dead 2 wasn't just a great game, it was also a bit of a warning. In 2018 on PlayStation 4, Rockstar was already doing stuff most studios still aren't doing properly now. The snow wasn't just visual fluff, it built up. Clothes reacted to weather. Mud tracked footprints differently depending on conditions. NPCs remembered things you'd done and sometimes reacted to you later. Animals hunted in believable ways, even when you weren't standing there watching them like it was a BBC documentary. That's the key thing. Those details weren't just trailer bait. They were part of a bigger system. The world didn't feel alive because of one flashy mechanic. It felt alive because lots of systems were running together all the time, quietly talking to each other in the background. That's why Red Dead 2 feels the way it does. Not because it throws details at you every 5 seconds, but because it gives you the impression that the world would keep going without you. You're not the center of it, you're just in it. And that's one of the hardest things to build in games. A lot of studios build the set. Rockstar builds the set and then tries to build the invisible machinery behind it too. That's a very different level of ambition. And the uncomfortable truth for the rest of the industry is that years later, not many have really matched it. Now bring that forward to GTA 6, because GTA 6 looks like that same obsession, but in a modern city. Real traffic density, dynamic tropical weather, way more NPC activity, a more advanced simulation layer, and a world that clearly wants to feel bigger than just pretty map, lots of stuff on screen. And to support that, Rockstar didn't just tweak their engine, they've pushed into a much more advanced version of it, what people refer to as Rage 9. That means more physically based lighting, more advanced ray tracing, volumetric clouds that actually behave like part of the atmosphere instead of just sky decoration, and water simulation that seems to go way beyond looks nice from a distance. Now here's where people sometimes miss the real issue. Any one of those features by itself is manageable. Good lighting? Fine. Better clouds? Fine. Better water? Fine. Games do that. The problem is doing all of it at once in a huge open world with no loading screens while traffic, pedestrians, physics, animations, AI, weather, and who knows what else are all running at the same time. That's where hardware starts sweating. If clouds move over Vice City and cast changing shadows over streets in real time, while lighting updates correctly, while vehicles and NPCs are still doing their thing, that's not just a pretty effect. That's multiple systems stacking on top of each other constantly. And that adds up very fast. That's the real challenge for the PS5. But this is also the exact kind of problem Rockstar has been solving for over 20 years. This is basically their whole thing. Streaming systems that predict where the player is going. Level of detail systems tuned so transitions are hard to notice. CPU optimization that exists purely to save milliseconds in places most players will never even think about. This is the invisible work Rockstar has always been unusually good at. That's why their games often feel slightly impossible. Because on paper, they kind of are, so yes, GTA 6 will run on PlayStation 5, but obviously not by magic. Rockstar will have made compromises somewhere. They always do. Every developer does. The difference is Rockstar is probably better than almost anyone else at hiding those compromises so well that most players never notice them. And honestly, that's part of the achievement. Making limits invisible is not the same thing as having no limits. In some ways, it's more impressive. It means you found the wall and then decorated it so well nobody realizes they just walked past it. That's what Rockstar tends to do. And even with those compromises, GTA 6 will probably still push beyond what most other studios are delivering when they're not even trying to hide anything. But here's the last part, and I think it's the most interesting. What if PlayStation 5 was never really the final destination for GTA 6? What if it's just the first version of it? Because Rockstar has done this before. GTA 5 started on PS3, then grew massively on PS4, then got another layer on PS5. Same core game, but not the same final form. Each generation gave Rockstar more room to show things they either couldn't do before or chose to hold back until the hardware made more sense. That's not an accident. Rockstar tends to build for the long term, so it's very possible that the version of GTA 6 Rockstar originally had in mind, the version with fewer compromises, more density, more simulation, more everything, is not the one we'll play first. It might be the one that arrives later when hardware catches up properly. And if that happens, people will probably look back at the PS5 version the same way we now look back at GTA 5 on PS3. Impressive, memorable, even groundbreaking for the time. But clearly not the full ceiling of what Rockstar was aiming at. That's why I don't think GTA 6 is going to break the PS5, because it can't run on it. I think it's going to break it in a different way. It's going to make a lot of other open-world games feel smaller afterward. Because Rockstar doesn't just release big games. They tend to reset expectations. After GTA 3, everyone wanted open worlds. After Red Dead 2, everyone wanted worlds that felt alive. A lot of studios tried. Very few got close. But Rockstar never really gives the industry a blueprint. They just drop the result on the table and let everyone else panic for 5 years. GTA 6 will probably be the same story. The PS5 version will run. It'll probably already look ridiculous. It may only be the first layer of what this engine can really do without major restraints, but that first layer might still be enough to redefine what people expect from open worlds for the next decade. So the real question is this: do you think Rockstar will manage to hide the compromises again? Or is this leap so big that this time even they won't be able to fully mask what had to be left out? Let me know in the comments, because when GTA 6 finally drops, we're going to get the answer. And the people already having this conversation now will get to see whether they called it or not.